verbal riot.
You know what's funny is I was and this is going into my first topic. I was out with Alan Ing last night from Film Threat. Me and him went to a movie screening. Believe it or not, we saw The Rings of Power in a movie theater, and a few other people did too. I know Gary from Nerdrotic did, and I don't think Gore did. No, Gore didn't see it. But yeah, we went to this theater, man, and we saw this awful show for 2 hours, right? 2 hours just sitting there watching this tripe. And, I was on my phone and I saw that Amandla Stenberg put out a video about the cancellation of the Acolyte. Well, the renewal, the non-renewal of the Acolyte. Let's get it right. The show wasn't canceled. It just wasn't renewed, right? So, yeah, I saw that she put out a video, and for me, I actually had like other things I was going to talk about today, but when I saw that, I was like, okay, man, look, every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Like I thought I was done talking about the Acolyte, but apparently this is still happening. So I guess I got to talk about it. Anyway, yeah, she put out a video and she's explaining herself or explaining how she feels about the non-renewal of the show. So I'm gonna play I'm not gonna play the whole video because it's long as hell, but I am gonna get into what she talked about.
However, I feel okay. Okay. Hello. I thought I would get on here and just speak candidly. I hate doing this, but I'm gonna do it. I don't use social media very much anymore, and I'm so happy about that. But there are many folks out there that I want to acknowledge and I want to show appreciation and love and support for. So that's why I'm hopping on here to talk about this, which is that our Star Wars show has been canceled. And
by the way, she beats around the bush a lot, guys. So maybe I should have just fast forward some of this, but stay with me.
I'm gonna be transparent and say that it's not a huge shock for me. Of course, I live in the bubble of my own reality, but for those who aren't aware, there has been a rampage of vitriol that we have faced since the show was even announced, when it was still just a concept and no one had even seen it. And that's when we started experiencing a rampage of, I would say, hyper-conservative bigotry and vitriol, prejudice, hatred, and hateful language towards us. And, this really affected me when I first got.
Look, she goes on, and basically she's saying everything that you think she would say. She's blaming the fans, blaming racism, blaming hatred, blaming bigotry, everything except for the fact that the writing of the show was god awful, right? Look, you know what's funny? I'm going to say something that you guys probably don't think I'm going to say. And I'm going to do something that you probably did not expect me to do. I'm about to take her side for a minute. I know that's wild as hell, but I was thinking about this last night when I was watching the video. I look, if we're keeping it a buck, if we're going to keep it just straight up honest, I do believe that she did receive some bigotry. Okay, she probably got some hateful comments. She probably got some racist comments. I'm not even doubting that. This is the internet. Okay, I mean it's the internet. It's social media. I'm sure she got those things. I'm not even going to question that. Right now, I know some people are like, "Well, where are the screenshots? Where are the pics?" Guys, let me tell you something about that. My generation, Generation X, we don't do all that. And I know she's not that. I know she's not that. But we don't screenshot everything that comes across our feed. We just don't. We look at it and we move on. No matter how offensive it is, we look at it and move on. We don't take time to screenshot everything. So, yeah, she probably didn't do that. Like she says, she's hardly on social media. So she probably didn't screenshot anything. But do I believe that she received those comments? Sure, because it's social media, right? Social media is a cesspool. So she probably did get all that hate. The problem is, though, you get that hate and you move on. You push. You don't sit there and gripe about it. You don't sit there and blame people who aren't bigots, right, for not liking your show. You don't sit there and not take accountability for the fact that everything about your show was garbage. And maybe there were people, guess what, who genuinely didn't like it. So, yeah, maybe she received those things, right? Maybe she received all those messages and blah, 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 and a lot of hate. But she also has to remember, too, she put out a diss track against the fans. And I say fans because guaranteed any real Star Wars fan did not like that show. That's just a fact. There's no way a real Star Wars fan could have liked that show. And I know all the shields are getting offended by that, right? But no real Star Wars fan liked that show. But here's the thing. I'm going to defend her in this way. See, I wasn't defending her about the comment things. I'm going to defend her in this way. I think Amandla, much like Rachel Zegler, I feel like these actresses, these actors are fodder for a greater evil, right? Because you have these executives at Disney who, believe me, this is all their agenda, but they're cowards, right? And they have the benefit of hiding behind the scenes. But they have these vocal, young, stupid mouthpieces that they could put out there to the public, right? And then when the public turns on them, well, the executives are in the clear, right? See, these girls, their careers are over, sunk. And Disney doesn't care because they're a breeding ground. They have thousands of other young activists, actors and actresses to take their places. So Amandla, Rachel Zegler, they're just food for the machine. It's the people behind them I blame. These girls are young, man. Yeah, they may act like they know it all. They may act, like they're smarter than they are. Right? They're smug, they're arrogant, but they're young. And believe me, when you are young, you say and you do dumb things. That's not even controversial to say. That's just real. You say and you do dumb things that you regret so much later in life. And take it from somebody who is fully gray at this point. When I think about some of the things I've said and done at that age, I cringe. I was just lucky enough not to have a camera in my face. I think these girls are being used. And there's a part of me that really feels bad for her, even though I know she's obnoxious. I know she's obnoxious. I know she's smug. I get it. I get it. But she is being used in a way that she doesn't realize she's being used. And that's, for me, that's kind of sad. And it's kind of messed up. Because apparently these girls don't have handlers. See, guys, there was a time in Hollywood, man. I'm going to throw some names out there for you, right? Jude Law, Keira Knightley, right? These are people who, there's a bunch of other names I can name off right now. Sam Worthington. These are names at the time, everyone thought was going to be the biggest names in Hollywood. Where are they now? They're either doing indie parts or scraping by to get supporting roles. The fame doesn't last. And there was a time in Hollywood where if you did anything close to what she or Rachel Ziegler did, your career was done that minute. Done. Now, things are different now. Now you have studios who are pushing agendas, right? They're pushing their message. And they're pushing these girls and guys, let's be honest. They're pushing them to put the message out there, knowing that they could dispose of them and find another star tomorrow. So there's a part of me that feels bad for Amanda Ziegler. I mean, for both, for Amanda Stenberg and Rachel Ziegler. I think, especially for Amanda, because I think Amandla, I think she. You know what's funny is I look at her and I look at this video, and the first thing that comes to my mind is I think she's really thinking about her future right now. Because, you know, getting your show canceled, that's a big slap in the face. And she's probably thinking like, and don't get me wrong, I don't think she's going to change her views. She's not going to change her values. She's not going to change her activist nature. You know, she'll probably be the same crazy leftist she is right now. She's not going to change that all of a sudden. But I think I bet you she's thinking the next project, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Or I'm going to maneuver this a little bit better than I did this time. I guarantee you she's thinking that. She has to be. So, yeah, guys, I actually feel bad for her. I feel bad for her. You know, I watched this video several times, and I know she comes off annoying as hell and obnoxious. But I'm looking behind the veil, and I think, from what I've seen, I think she's thinking. She's thinking. Because her career literally could be over right now, and I think she knows that. Guys, these studios are the problem. These major studios, they're the ones. They're the ones getting backed by all these bigger companies, right? The Blackstones, the Vanguards. You know, they have masters of their own. And these girls, these actors, are just fodder.